Happy New Year! Welcome back. This is the Tony and Tim Show. I'm Tony.
And I'm Tim.
Welcome to 2024, of course. Welcome from that long break that we took, of course, here. We had a festive break. We want to thank everyone that stayed watching all our clips on TikTok, YouTube, and, of course, everyone that participated in our donation drive, the 20 days of TNT Live Christmas. Thank you so much. A lot happened over the Christmas break, team.
Yeah.
There was a lot of changes, a lot of surprises.
Yeah.
Arsenal slipping from first to fourth.
Yeah.
Let's start there.
Yeah, it was a bad festive season for the Arsenal fraternity, Tony, because going to the Christmas, dropped points to Liverpool between Christmas and the New Year. They lost 2 games there. And it seems Arsenal is starting to drop the points they need to pick up. But again, the other happening was Man City closing the loop in the trophy hall. They are winning the Club World Cup. So a lot happened, but positives and negatives around the clock.
To slip from first to fourth, now 5 points behind Liverpool.
Yeah.
That's a big problem for a team like Arsenal, that perhaps who are looking to go into a positive direction this season.
Yeah.
Manchester City are on the same points, mark you, from 40 points right now, and they have a game in hand.
Yeah.
These are worrying times for Arteta and his side.
Yeah, it's worrying times, but Tony, we always say every team in the Premier League will go through a rough patch. You would want to say maybe this is Arsenal's rough patch, and now from here they can kick on. But if they have another phase of a rough patch, then they will not be able to win the Premier League.
Very interesting there. Of course, the festive period always serving us very, very brilliant football. And of course, we had the FA Cup round as well last weekend, where we also saw some very, very interesting results. Arsenal still crashing out of that against Liverpool 1-0. A narrow 1-0 win, a loss that perhaps shouldn't have 2-0, that perhaps shouldn't have gone Liverpool's way. Arsenal showed that perhaps they can do something against the big sides, but it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, it wasn't meant to be. I thought Arsenal again were wasteful in the first half. They should have got 2 goals or 3, but they didn't play. Number 9, Kai Havertz did a decent job, but he's the one who lost those chances. So Arsenal failing to capitalize on their chances was always going to affect them, and Liverpool capitalized on their 2 attempts out of 4 and were able to go through.
And of course, we also got the sad news this week that Mr. Franz Beckenbauer passed away at the age of 78. Perhaps one of the biggest names in football, if you've been following football for a long time. German legend, Bayern Munich legend. Part of the reason why perhaps they say Bayern Munich is the club that it is today. So commiserations to the European football fraternity there. What's your big memory about Franz Beckenbauer? I don't think we watched him play.
We didn't watch him, Tony, but the World Cup, I think 1966, when England won, I'm told he had a good display against the late Man U legend also there. So maybe it was that good because when we read what these guys have done before and maybe watch a few clips. But talking about this week, I think commiserations to also the former England gaffer, Steve Goran Eriksson there, because he's been diagnosed with terminal cancer, and the news says he has a year to live from now. It's sad news. So we pray for him and his family.
Very, very, very big news all round. And of course, again, the transfer window is firmly open right now. We've seen already some interesting news, some few coming ins and outgoings for some of the top clubs. What do you think the top 6 sides perhaps will be looking for, especially in this particular window?
Tony, I think I'll go with Arsenal. Arsenal needs a striker, but is there an available striker out there? I don't think so. Tony says he wants to reward Brentford. Yes, so Arsenal might not go there.
But the price as well might be
even the price tag is high. I think Tottenham has done well defensively. They brought in Dragusin there, and then they've taken a gamble with Timo Werner. We know he didn't perform in Chelsea, but he has those glimpses. Maybe he has something to prove back in the Premier League. Man United, I don't think they need any recruitment. They have to make sure the guys there do the job. Liverpool, for me, I think don't need also any addition. Neither do Man City. I don't know on your side.
It will certainly be very interesting. Arsenal have had some strikers they've been looking at. The interesting news has been around the Getafe striker, former Real Madrid striker, Borja Mayoral, who is perhaps available for £22 million. I don't think it's a good fit at £22 million, especially if you really need a hitman. He's not the kind of person you need. But Arsenal also might need some reinforcements in midfield. We saw that Declan Rice perhaps is starting to slow down a bit. Maybe he needs a rest, especially now that El Neni is also away at the AFCON. Maybe someone that can come in and try to show things up. But they might be returning from injury, so it will be interesting to see how
Jorginho is there.
I'll not get me started on Jorginho. But very interesting. Manchester United haven't lost much apart from Onana going away to the AFCON from next week. We know that he might be available this weekend. Not so sure yet. But if he goes, perhaps then the team will start to be looking at the goalkeeping position. You already have Altair Bayendia and Tom Heaton. So it will be very interesting. I don't think they need to reinforce. They've already lost Sancho to Dortmund, but he hasn't been playing anyway. So it will be very interesting to see what Ten Hag does. Tottenham have done well. Again, like you said, still the injury list is growing, but maybe Dragusin coming in. They struggled a bit when Cristiano Romero was suspended. And of course, Mickey van der Ven was injured. So perhaps that's why they've brought in another centre-back. The coach didn't seem to trust Eric Dyer, and that's why he has gone now to Bayern on loan for the rest of the season. Perhaps they don't need to do much more while they wait on some of their players to come back. Man City don't need to do anything. They haven't lost anyone even to AFCON, so it will be very interesting. Chelsea, on the other side, have bought too much. So perhaps the coach now really needs to settle down, and especially after welcoming back Nkunku from the injury list, he will be now starting to really work around what he's got. But it will be very interesting to see, especially after losing to Middlesbrough in the midweek in the Carabao Cup semi-final. So still, we might see some interesting news, maybe some surprises here and there. But I don't think most of the teams need to do too much. So interesting. But of course, we'll be bringing you more of that transfer news on our pages. Do not miss any of that. And of course, we'll be giving you a weekly roundup on those transfers as they will be happening. We turn our attention to the Premier League games that will be happening this weekend. Of course, we have only 5 of them. Don't go anywhere.
Don't go.